If you think about it, there's only really three things that's guaranteed. You born, you make money, and you die. What's going on, peoples? What's the deal? This is the Don't Read My Mind podcast, episode 25, and I am your host, your boy, Lenny Reed. And how was everybody Monday doing? Whether you're furloughed, whether you're working, as long as you're alive and breathing, right? That should be the only thing. Um, I'm pretty much doing all right myself. Can't complain. Trying to get back in shape. I done somehow got a gut throughout this whole process, and I'm really trying to, get the six pack back that I never had. But still, when I say get the six pack back, it sounds a little bit better, like I've been there before, right? But I never had a six pack. Anyway, I just wanna, thank everybody that's still out there working, grinding, that's trying to get this crazy situation taken care of. And man, I'm on my fourth podcast talking about this. This is crazy, and like I said, people is way worse off than me and a lot of other people out there. So if you laughing, if you having fun, if you eating, if you working, what I'm saying, you gotta look at that, and you gotta thank your high above person, right? You gotta thank God about that, because a lot of people is not in that situation. So this topic I'm gonna hit on today, like I said before, when I listen, let me break it down to the people. I started this podcast not to talk about the average. Yo, Pookie and them got shot by Ray Ray and all of them, right? No, I didn't want to start my podcast off like that. I'm basically going off the scientific. I'm nowhere near a scientist. I basically don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But if you can read a book, if you can read, if you can pay attention, it's not hard to put everything together, right? So my thing is about stuff that people might not know. I want to throw a little bit of education in there somewhere. Just something that, probably you missed. All of this stuff I knew about because, like I said, the early days of encyclopedia. So I know mainly, a lot about this stuff. But a lot of you probably won't know. So I won't consider myself a conspiracy theorist, because to that somehow, some way, they I don't know, man. They just get the little tinfoil hat going on there. But shout out to the Tinfoil Hat podcast. I heard about them through the podcast God. Joe Rogan. I call him a podcast God because, I'm gonna tell you a little story. I used to listen to, I still do listen to Joe Rogan podcast, and he always used to talk about space and then weed and then everything. Everything was in the mix. He didn't stay in a straight line, and he kept telling people, everybody that came on his show, he was like, "Hey man, you should do a podcast. Yo, it's therapeutic and this and that." So as I'm watching his shows, and I have to say I watched about 100 of his podcasts, and he just constantly telling people, "Hey man, you need to start a podcast, man. You need to start a podcast." Different comedians, different scientists and stuff like that. And yo, he turned the light in my head. I'm like, shit, I should start a podcast. I should get out of this, get this crazy stuff in my head out into the public. Either you going to feel me or you going to say, yo, this motherfucker is crazy. Either way, I'm cool with it. But yes, let's get to the show. This show is basically about mind control in our wonderful government. And I'm not a government hater. No, I'm not. But back in the day, there was this program called MK Ultra. Yo, tell me that ain't a dope name, yo. MK Ultra. Anyway, this program was MK Ultra, and it was about government, different programs that brainwash people. All right, so I'm gonna start it off with something that can happen to anybody. Okay, let's go. All right, say you wake up in the morning, you're making cereal for your kids, you're about to go to work, you get in your car on your way to work, and you say, man, I need to stop and get some coffee. You stop, you get some coffee, you're drinking that coffee, you get to work, you sit down at your desk, or whatever you're doing, and all of a sudden, news break, there's a video out, right? And you watching that shit, right? And everybody else in your office is watching the video. And then everybody look at you and you look at the video like, holy shit, that's me. And in this video, you walked up to somebody prominent, probably a politician, I don't know. Just put anybody in there. And you blew his brains out. Kindly walked away, got back in your car, drove off the scene. But what you didn't know is you was a product of some kind of brainwashed experiment. Now, how can that happen? Well, it could have happened. If you notice, it can be a certain code or a word that's thrown to you via a cell phone call or something. You could have been driving after you got your coffee. Somebody could answer the phone and said 9765 and just hung up. And you like, what the hell is 9765 mean? All of a sudden, you in a trance. You turn around, you go in another direction. You don't know what's going on. All of that was blocked out of your head. Anyway, end of that story is you go down for murder. You did it. It's on camera. But it wasn't you in your head. Now, that probably happened to a lot of people. A lot of people probably ambushed at the end was shot dead. They was never able to explain their situation. So, that's just what can happen or what probably happened in this whole MK Ultra experiment or other crazy experiments that happen that we don't know about. So, if that didn't scare the shit out of y'all, let's do it, baby. So, okay, back to this. It's called the CIA Mind Control Program, okay, aka MK Ultra. And the program started in the 1953, and it was mainly in Canada and the U.S. And what they would do is they would go out, get certain candidates that was probably close to somebody that they had to target, or they was probably testing out different interrogation methods. So you might think, like, damn, that's kind of crazy. Like, this could have happened to anybody. So, how they do the experiment? What they do is they give you a high dose of LSD. I never took LSD, but I did know a girl that took LSD back in the day. And I think it was acid. I don't know if it's the same LSD. Anyway, yeah, she took acid or LSD back in the day, and she said she just had an amazing trip. She went to this other place, but she said sometimes the trip will come out of nowhere. She can be driving, she can be at work, and then all of a sudden she can be thrust right back into that trip. That is scary. That is very scary. But she said, I mean, it comes back time to time. And the reason she took it, I don't know. But anyway, they give you a large dose of LSD. So you just out there, you just all over the place. So then they get you, and then they to give you basically electric shock, and just turning that shit. Your brain is cooking, you over there screaming, but Your mind is in this other place with the LSD, right? But they got you on this table in this office or whatever, and they just cranking you up with electric shock, right? After that, then this the crazy part. Whatever message they trying to get in your head, they complete that story by putting some kind of hearing speaker device strapped around your head, and you can't take it off, and it just says the same message for like days. So now, apparently, your family probably wondering where you at, right? But anyway, this just don't take one day. You probably been worked on, and this message is just like brought into your head, like he must die, he must die, he must die. So they got this message just going on for days and days and days, and you can't take it off. You hear it when you sleep, you hear it when you awake, you hear it all the time. So after that, then they let you sleep for a certain amount of time. This is what I read. I don't really know, but after you sleep, now they let you go. So whatever little mechanism, a little trick that they got, that little code that they put in your head, that's how they ignite you. So you can get, somebody to say something to you, walk past you and say 9767, and just walk past you like what the. But all of a sudden, boom, he ignites something in your head. Damn, that's crazy, right? I want no parts of that. Anyway, but look, back then the CIA was getting crazy. I mean, they was basically hitting all kind of areas trying to get test subjects. They was doing universities, colleges, hospitals, prisons, pharmaceutical companies. I don't know. Probably they was. I don't know what they was doing to pharmaceutical companies. Not only that, they was hitting up their own CIA agents. Just say if you got somebody in your office that you really want to know and just sit back on the effect of LSD, they probably lace their partner or somebody else in the CIA office, right? Lace them up. Just sit back. Just watch how Bob acting over there. You just sit back watching Bob and see what he going through. And that way, that's a close quarter. That's close quarter, and you can see how it affects the body or whatever. It's cold-blooded, baby. That's cold-blooded. But the craziest things. Now, this is another thing that they did. So I'm going to say you go through a brothel or a, what's the other word for a brothel? Whorehouse? Whorehouse? What's the other word for a whorehouse? Anyway, you go to somewhere to have sex with a young lady for money, right? Okay, but this whole time, this brothel wasn't really a brothel. It was set up as a brothel, but it was really ran by the CIA. So you go to this brothel, you look at this fine young lady, you be like, beautiful, I want you. Because usually it's a list, it's probably like 4 or 5 of them standing there. So you pick the one, you go up in the room, she say, do you want something to drink? It's on the house. You say, why not? What you got? Anything you want. All right, now, that's a way for her to say, I'll be right back with it. That's how she going to lace it. LSD that way. Now, if the guy said, no, I'm good, just come on over here, sexy lady, right? If he go that route. And then the other way is for her to leave. Say she got to do something or she got to powder up or whatever she got to do, right? Then they send LSD aerosol through the vents. So now they're able to track through I guess like a double mirror to see how this subject is acting when the LSD. But they didn't only do that. They would send an underage girl in there and lay down with the person, and then they would take pictures. So now they got these guys by the balls for future, programs, whatever they want to do with that. But you gotta understand, My main thing is, if this program was stopped, probably I don't know what year, but it was probably somewhere in the 60s or 70s that this program was stopped. But I don't think it was ever stopped. It probably went under deep. You know what I'm saying? When a if a program, if put it like this, if you have a program that's probably producing, meaning that you are able to have regular people as assassins, regular people to do all your dirty work, right? If you able to brainwash regular people and to keep your hands clean, and then all of a sudden able to erase this person's memory of what they did and it don't get back to you, why would you stop that program? If you got eyes on that program, and if I heard they had a congressional, they had a hearing for it, right? I don't know if I said that word right, but they had a hearing for it, and I think the program was shut down. But come on, dog, this is the CIA. You think they shut it down? No, they tuck it deep underground, and they probably added more money to it. Because if you can get Tom, Dick, or Harry, if you can just catch them slipping one day, grab them up, lace them with LSD, electroshock them, and put some message in their head for a couple hours, a couple days straight, right? Then put them to sleep, then wake them up, drop them off somewhere. They would never remember what happened, and they just a freaking what's that word I'm looking for? They just a freaking time bomb ready to explode that you control. That you control. I just doubt they did just you know put that put that or shut that program down. Come on, dog. Come on. Who you fooling? Manchurian Candidate. That was a movie with Denzel Washington. Came out a while ago. It was somebody else, and I forgot the other actor in it or actors in it. It was a good movie. It was about some kind of I think that was with Denzel Washington. Man. Check that out if y'all get a chance. It should be on one of those streaming services. Anyway, they would basically brainwash people without them knowing it. And it was also suggested that you remember the guy that killed Robert Kennedy, JFK brother. Robert Kennedy, the guy, his name was Sirhan Sirhan. And they said, they was also saying that he was some kind of Manchurian candidate at some point because it was even said by him that a lady in a polka dot dress, and you can probably look this up, a polka dot dress made him kill Robert Kennedy. I think she walked past him and said something to him, or the color of the polka dot dress probably set him off. I don't remember. I think I seen it in some kind of movie or something like that, but it was said that, he did not remember doing anything. All he remembered was, being at the event, and then afterwards, that he was accused of killing Robert Kennedy. So that was crazy. That's somebody firsthand that you can probably, do some digging on. But yeah, because I remember they was talking about the chick that just came out of nowhere in the polka dot dress, yo. That shit is crazy. But yeah, it was another. All right, think about all these other mass killings. It was another mass killing. I forgot. I think it was the one where I think it happened in California, and the dude had all black on, but they said like the way he was acting, like he just snapped or just something clicked. He was acting normal. He probably was going to work or doing something that was normal. Then all of a sudden, it went on to that. Not only that, it was also said that Charles Manson and the Unabomber, they was heavily drugged in some kind of mind control government program. So this shit go deep. Yeah, it's crazy. But people probably saying, well, that can't happen today. It's, so many cameras and stuff like that. Nah, nah. From my research, anybody that you go to and you surrender yourself to can make it happen to you. Dentists, some kind of, any kind of like, well, you basically laying down, you need to be put to sleep or subdued or something like that, it can possibly happen to you. But it won't unless you're dealing into some, you into some heavy shit, running guns for other countries, that kind of stuff. You should be alright. You shouldn't have to worry about that. But I think it's something that still happens, probably more underground. If you involved in it, nobody else will know anyway, because you probably won't be on this earth no more. But you got to think about it. All right, they will not stop because they will look at it as some kind of form of national security. I mean, sometimes you got to get your hands dirty, right? To protect people and to make sure, the United States is safe. But I'm not gonna sleep on the government and act like, you know, they Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Nor am I anti-government, but I can run down, a little list of some kind of crazy shit that probably came, out the government's direction. Let me see. You have Tuskegee Airmen or the Tuskegee experiment, right? Experiments with syphilis. Okay. Iran Contra, right? Oh, did you know? The U.S. Department of Treasury poisoned alcohol during the Prohibition. I mean, that's just a list. You got to. I can't forget 9/11. Come on, dog. Come on, dog. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole right now, but all I'm. My goal is this. It's just, make people see different ways, different routes. Not saying that it's a bad thing or it's a good thing. Just to be aware, have knowledge in certain situations. So if you have, an uncle or cousin or somebody that's just acting erratic, or you watching something on TV and you just see how the lines don't add up. This shit don't add up. You don't want to just continue or switching the channel and go about your day. You need to be out there watching this crazy shit. I'd rather you be aware and don't do nothing, or unaware and don't do nothing. At least be aware. At least know how to move, in situations like this. But, like I said, mind control is not hard to do. With the right people in place, the right hallucinogens, you know, and the right people to take on that subject that they want, that they looking for. If you in that line of fire, man. But talking about hallucinogens, something that I have to try, and it is called DMT. I keep hearing about this DMT. I was on YouTube going in. I was looking at videos, going in rabbit holes, looking at all these DMT videos. I actually heard about people doing it on a Joe Rogan podcast. Not doing it on the podcast, but everybody that was on that particular date actually experienced it. Hey, I heard it's probably not legal in United States. I think you had to go to Holland or something like that. But yo, DMT, come on, dog. If anybody got any crazy DMT stories, hit me up, yo. Hit up my email. Don't read my mind at Gmail. Okay? Don't read my mind at Gmail. Or you can DM me. Hit up my Instagram, DRMM Podcast. Alright? Hit that up on Instagram. But guys, I am here to bring different stories, different ways of enlightenment, different directions, different locations, different dimensions. I'm gonna have to put that on you. Different dimensions, baby. So listen, if you stick with me, if you roll with me, I appreciate it. This has been a journey. Even if I have one listener, 2 listeners, 3 listeners, this is therapeutic for me. You know, this podcast is a wonderful, just to get all this shit out my brain, just let the pressure out of my head. So I love this shit. I love doing this for y'all. I do this for y'all. And drop me a line if it's something that you want me to talk about or lean into. Hit me up. But for now, I'm about to take a dive, baby. I'm about to be out of here. I'm about to be out of here like the next day of Sunday. Alright? Even though it's Monday. You dig? Anyway, yo guys, thank you for listening. This has been another episode of the Don't Read My Mind podcast. I'm your host, Lenny Reed. This is episode 25. I hope to do 1,000 more, baby. Love you guys. Peace. Once again, before you go, this podcast is sponsored by AutolandDesigns.com, where you get the hottest shirts, hats, with that kind of car feeling. You know, if you don't got an Autoland shirt on, dog, what are you doing? What are you doing? All right, I'm out here, guys. Peace.